Honestly, like I always the biggest events in 24 are right in front of us. I mean, we're only months away from it, more or less. But I'd like to start with the 22 and the World Cups because that was one in a million happening in the late part of the year. Everybody had their theories about how it's going to evolve, how much impact that's going to have within the industry, within sports in general. But I think it was one of the most exciting competitions we've seen in a while. And I think even the industry in general has been quite receptive of it. And I think now we're back to the original kind of setup where we have a very busy summer across the globe. Other tournaments as well, apart from Copa and Euros, are there. And of course, everybody's riling up for that because if you look at sports betting, unlike the casino industry, which is kind of has a flat kind of season more or less, sports betting is very seasonal. Obviously, every summer, people are trying to use the low period of mostly June and July in order to prepare, do any sort of upgrades, releases, new stuff to the players. And I think everybody's ready for 24. They're not going to have that luxury. So they're going to have their hands full with all the incoming traffic, incoming bets, and all the punters that would like to have themselves entertained during these competitions. And I think what's crucial, I think, for every operator out there, at least this is our take on it, is that these kind of competitions globally that are globally that important and attract so much attention is the acquisition side of it. I think everybody is looking to provide as much as they can in order to attract new players coming to their businesses and actually staying there for a longer period of time. So how we kind of riled up and how we're preparing from our side is we believe we have the technology to cater to that precise focus in order to attract the players, but not only to be there for a month while the competitions are out there. We're there to actually engage those players throughout the competitions and actually convince them to stay and retain, for our partners to retain those customers long term. So I think we've got the full coverage of all the competitions that are happening. We've got interesting markets for all the players out there because it usually boils down to maybe some innovative market that you roll out that's interesting for the players. They come, test it out, and they decide to stick around. And what we're doing is providing a full coverage with the full package from a technology standpoint in order to promote the competitions towards the players. But then again, with our bonus engine features that we provide, we are ensuring that these players are there on the side for long term, not just for that month while the games are up. It's more about the long term vision that we're looking into. Yeah. Well, traditionally, in terms of sportsbook, we have been very focused on European continent, more or less. So we kind of know what we're doing when it comes to Euros and the popularity there. But when it comes to Latin America, we're breaking into that market. How we envision it is that we're bringing a suitcase full of features that have not been there in Latin America for most of the operators. Of course, you've got your big B2Cs that are there already, but what we're trying to do is to empower the local, highly focused operators that are focusing with local expertise, with local people that are looking for solutions to their problems. Whether it's bonusing campaigns that they can set up, whether it's the coverage that they can offer to their players, the stability of the offering, we believe that we come with a toolkit that they can utilize and actually grab a market share from the big guys out there who are globally the most popular ones. But I think when it comes to every single local market, and when we say LATAM, we think about a lot of different countries, and each one of them is very specific. I would even dare to say that even within one country, you have certain differences between the regions of the country. Brazil is a huge market, and I don't believe that approaching Brazil in a single matter is a good policy. You should cater to your players and cater to regions that have different ways of interacting with your sportsbook. And this is what we're trying to provide, a full flexibility for to learn from our partners what they think is the best for their players, and in order to provide them with the tools in order to make their wishes come true, more or less. Basically, I think with any kind of software technology, when it's down, and there's no way to go about it. And this is the most painful point you can be at. Doesn't matter who your provider is or if you're developing it in-house. It's the worst possible situation. But I think it's a bit more complex than that when it comes to finer details. Now, I grew up. My grandma, she passed away several years ago, but she used to tell me, like, back where I'm from, we have these dry walls made out of stones, basically big ones, to kind of round out the property ages ago. And she used to say it's not the big stones that hold the wall together; it's the small ones that you put in between. And I think this is exactly what we're trying to do here with these smaller things. So apart from being available for the players, you have to have the ability of the players to give the ability to players to place a bet. I mean, if they can see the offer, but they cannot place the bet, it's all the same. You have to give them the ability to use the features that you're promoting. It doesn't matter if you have partial cash out, auto cash out, 100% cash out, or any kind of different feature out there if it's not functioning as it should be. And the third perspective is that you have to be able to cope with settlement during these peak moments, because it's going to be a pretty wild summer, and I think a lot of events are going to happen in the same time. There's going to be a crossover between those three competitions, more or less, and you need to be able to maintain the stability there and maintain the settlement speed. I think when it comes to settlement speed, I think it's often underestimated because players today, they want instant gratification. If their ticket is a winning ticket, they want to have that money in their balance instantly. Doesn't matter what sport it is, doesn't matter what they like, whether they like fencing or water polo or football or esports, whatever it is, they want that instant gratification so they can go ahead and entertain themselves a bit more. And I think this is the core focus. So we are aiming to do that, and what we're aiming for is hopefully before these big competitions roll out, we're going to be introducing early settlement as well, definitely within this year, but we don't want to rush it because this is a sensitive feature that's very popular today. It's practically becoming one of the must-haves, such as, cash out has been through that, bet builder has been through that, and I think now early settlement is in that stage where if every provider should have it available for their partners, otherwise partners will be losing players to their competition that has it. And not only do I think that, we actually have the proof for that. I mean, we've been it's an it's an interesting coincidence that EveryMatrix went down that route of gathering a bigger esports offering in 2019, so just before COVID hit. So by the time the lockdown started and all the sports got canceled, there was a vast array of esports offered. We're working with providers such as Better or BetBazaar and BetInvest. We're integrating SIS. We're adding more and more content on pretty much a monthly basis. The reason for that is that we've actually seen in numbers a big crossover from FIFA and NBA 2K to your traditional sports. Now, I don't like calling FIFA and NBA 2K your esports, as they don't fit in with the rest of the CSGO and LOL and all the other esports, but basically cross-sell between the traditional football, basketball, and the other sports and FIFA and NBA 2K is tremendous. As you mentioned, I think I told that example when I joined EveryMatrix early 21. FIFA was sport number 3, and I reckoned, okay, this is leftovers from COVID time. But it's been almost 3 years now, and month after month, it remained on that position. Our explanation for that, and what we managed to find out, is that it offers players an alternative during the low periods of the day. So if you're based in Europe, like early morning, there's not a lot of action going on when it comes to football. But if you enjoy football, if you're passionate about it, and you want to place a bet, you will jump on a FIFA game without even knowing who the guys with the controllers are, and you will enjoy a game of football and be able to place a bet. This is why we think it's pivotal to have as many events as possible covered with live streaming, because your traditional football punters are not going to care much about the nicknames and the handles of the guys who are actually controlling the game. They are going to watch a game and consider it a normal football game, which they understand, and they see who's got the edge, and they think they can figure out what's going to happen next. And I think this makes the whole difference when it comes to it. And it fits in very nicely. I mean, I haven't seen global numbers, but my impression is that this is more or less a replacement and maybe even an upgrade to what virtual sports were. Virtual sports back in the day were the closest alternative you've got to traditional football and basketball and all the other sports. But players were always a bit wary about it. They knew that this is computer generated and they then have no control over it. But now when they see two guys who are actually holding the controls in their hands, they feel much more secure and relaxed that their basically anticipation is going to get them to where they want a winning ticket, right? Definitely, not only that, it's two of the biggest projects that we launched in 23 came uh, in Q4, I think both of them. So basically, we're going to be seeing all of their traffic in our network throughout the whole year. Plus, you have the competitions during the summer, which is going to give us an opportunity to kind of fill that low period of the year. What we're trying to do in EveryMatrix in general, but also in the sports division of OddsMatrix, is to take our time and dedicate ourselves to the clients. We're not in the business of making fast money and then basically break everything on our way there. We're trying to make sustainable growth that's actually good for all of the parties involved. In 24, we're launching a couple of new microservices that are more focused to the tier one operators. And I think competitions like these are going to be even more crucial because I mentioned during my presentation that you can have a lot of tools. You can have your bet builders, your bonuses, your early settlements, whatever it is, edge of the technology type of stuff. But if your odds are not competitive, then your punters are going to feel it, they're going to know it, and they're going to leave you. So what we're providing to tier ones is basically a tool to help them sharpen up their odds, make sure that they have the most competitive offering out there, because this is the spine of the whole system is basically what you're offering in terms of odds. And apart from that, we're launching our first omni-channel client, which is going to be, I think, the biggest kind of event for us when it comes to our coverage and our partners. We are very excited about it. I mean, everybody's already taken for granted that retail is something that's behind us, slowly diminishing. But I think it's going to be there for a while. Maybe not in the full capacity that it is right now, but the chance and the opportunity it gives you to promote your brand and make sure you scream out to your players that you're there for them and you're, a brand to be trusted because you are present there. They can see you on the street. They can actually walk in, talk to people who work there instead of relying on an online brand that they never heard from or seen anybody working there. I think this is not going to go away. And what we're bringing is a completely new retail technology, and there hasn't been one for years now because everybody's moved all of their efforts online. And I think this omni-channel project is going to show what else can be done in unifying the online and the retail space. And we already have some cool features that are going to make this quite the year for OddsMatrix. And again, when it comes to numbers, end of 24, I'm expecting to continue this growth from the sports perspective and to show force and to show basically that sportsbook division of EveryMatrix is here to actually provide solutions to operators of any size, more or less, because this is what we aim to do. We aim to cater every business with tremendous amount of respect and understanding for their business. And we're never in the business of like rolling out websites that are lookalikes and actually are going to be there for a couple of years and then shut down.